Yes.
Last lecture for this week.
Yes. संडे को लास्ट लेक्चर फॉर दिस बोल रहा है ना नेक्स्ट वीक ऑल्सो आई थिंक आई डोंट नो पहले बोल
This
रहा
week, as in this coming week, then he's not there only. Like, I think today is the last day. Then, yeah.
है yeah.
I'm just trolling them at this point. What?
But
Yeah,
he's
no,
not
but
here.
yeah,
I
this is
have
his
my
last
exams
lecture.
from day
The
after.
tweet of which I deleted my first. Yeah, this is his last lecture
Yeah.
because
परसों से
उसको
मेरा एंड
परसों से एग्जाम है
Yep.
या कल से.
परसों
So yeah,
okay Sanjana says we are live and it's 7:10 also. That's
who is
great. I'll
recording?
start sharing my
Whoever
screen
clicks
and start
recording would.
recording.
Sanjana, are you recording or Sam? Are you recording?
I'll record.
You don't worry, man. We'll bring him back.
Yes. Mm,
अभी तो खत्म नहीं हुआ क्या फ्रॉइड यंग एंड हॉर्नाइट?
हो गया I share this tab, the other tab gets shared. Yesterday same thing was happening. Just they will know.
Oh,
100 times I had to share. I don't know some glitches there.
the recording thing hasn't started yet. I
Yes.
see the transcription thing.
Yeah.
Recording होना चालू नहीं हुआ. Sanjana, can you
Mm.
try from your end? Ah, wait, it's starting.
No, it's starting. Wait.
Give it a second.
So excited. I'm also very excited. A little sad also, but don't worry. Mhm. Yep.
Yeah, very good. Let's go.
Okay. Great. Hello everyone. Good evening. How are you guys doing? Can you hear me? I have different earphones on today. Oh, can I see some of you? Hi Sangeeta. Hi Bhavya. Hi Bhavya's fan. I'm fine now. What do you mean? What happened? I'm good. I'm good. How are you? How are you? Hello. I don't know, man. Let's see. Okay. Now that we are back, I hope you had a great session with Arjun. Um, he was very reassuring, calming, and he's extremely right. He has the data. Okay, so that's great. And we are live also, I think. So we will start. We are recording also. Everything is in place. Let's begin. Okay, so yesterday we solved all our MCQs are done, right? We solved all these MCQs. This is done. And then we were talking about object relations, right? Just to sum up in 1 minute, what is object relations? Object relations is internal representation of something that is external. For example, I'll tell you something that all of you might have noticed since I turned on my video. You might have noticed that the background is different, right? So you might be wondering where I am. Okay. Now, why is this the case? This is the case because yesterday and day before, my background was the same. So you had an idea of something that was external, which is my background, in your mind that this is where he lives, right? And now that has been changed. ऐसा है या नहीं? What do you think? Did anyone think this, or am I just guessing? True. Okay. Great. So we talked about object relations. That's done, right? Internal world populated by self, populated by objects, and the relationships between them. Yeah, see, that's how we notice things. That's how important object relations are. Great. This is also done. Okay. We talked about Melanie Klein. We talked about how different positions we wanted to discuss, right? We discussed how positions are not developmental stages. They are not at all something we undergo and then come out of, right? Developmental positions are ego's attempts to reduce anxiety. Yes, sir. Yes, I will explain positions. Don't worry. Yes, बिल्कुल. तो developmental positions क्या है? Small infant, remember infant we have talked about? वही infant वो बड़ा हो जाएगा I think. जितना अगर if we continue teaching every day. But there's a small infant, right? That infant is crying because it's afraid of the world. It's afraid of which anxiety? We discussed the type of anxiety yesterday. Does anyone remember? अच्छा हॉर्नाई के हिसाब से what is the infant afraid of? Basic anxiety. Excellent. Klein termed it as annihilation anxiety, right? So you're all right. Basic anxiety is what Hormack said. Klein said it's annihilation anxiety. It feels it will be annihilated by the death instinct. Okay. अब बच्चे को डर लगा डर कम करना the child is afraid and now you have to reduce the fear. The infant wants to reduce the fear. Whose job is it to reduce fear? किसका काम है? Caregiver. Excellent. Excellent. Great answer. Outside it's the uh, caregiver's job, right? Mother's job. अब mother is neglecting. Okay. The mother is neglecting the child. Internally, whose job is it to reduce anxiety? Ego. Correct. Okay. So the ego will deploy positions, right? अब ये पोजीशन होते क्या है ये मैं एक्सप्लेन करता हूँ द सेकेंड हाफ विल बी completed there okay चलो let's continue from yesterday. The first position is the paranoid schizoid position. Okay, the first position is the paranoid schizoid position. अरे गायब हो गए सब. can't see any can't see any of you. If possible please एक दो लोग वीडियो चालू कर दो. Great. Now I can see two three people. Okay, paranoid schizoid position. ओके, साइकिक पोजीशंस बोलते हैं इनको हम, राइट? तो क्योंकि विकेट कीपर की पोजीशन तो नहीं है ये, ईगो की पोजीशंस नहीं, दीज आर नॉट पोजीशंस ऑफ ईगो. द ईगो इज डिप्लॉइंग दीज पोजीशंस. ओके, वेरी सिंपल, कोई टेंशन लेने की बात नहीं. ओके, पैरानॉइड स्chizoid पोजीशन क्या होता है? फर्स्ट 3 मंथ्स में मेलेनी क्लाइन सेड वी एक्सपीरियंस दिस in the first 3 months. Can you be a bit louder? Am I audible to everyone? I'll be a bit louder. First 3 months we experience this. ओके, जिंदगी के पहले 3 महीने आपकी जिंदगी के सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट महीने हैं. ओके, नाउ what happens, what is this position? Let's understand both the words first before understanding the position. The first word is paranoid. Paranoid सबको पता है क्या होता है? When is the last time you felt paranoid? Think of a good example and I'll tell you mine till then. Okay, half an hour ago I was sitting and I was attending Arjun's lecture and suddenly the light electricity went off in my home and my laptop was at 10%. I called my friend who lives nearby and he was like, Ki, my light is also gone. Then I went to a cafe and I was charging my laptop there so I could take this class. And then that cafe's electricity also went off. Now I've started to feel panic that मैं तुम्हारा class कैसे लूंगा. Then I called another friend and finally I'm here. Okay, what answers do we have? Walking in a dark corridor, thinking of ghosts behind me, studying stats, what this is now. And someone threatened me. Okay. Paranoia when driving. Okay, great. Ab, can the infant drive? Can the infant take this lecture? What paranoia will the infant face? The paranoia that infant faces comes from the fear of annihilation. It thinks that there's these destructive impulses in me, right? What if it destroys me? Correct? Not abandonment. No, that's incorrect. Okay. What if it destroys me? So the anxiety from the death instinct causes the fear of annihilation, which makes the child paranoid. Got it? तो पैरानॉइड पार्ट समझ गया पैरानॉइड स्chizoid पोजीशन का. एक्सेप्ट। अब आते हैं हम स्किज़ोइड से। अब बच्चे को डर लग रहा है, राइट? नाउ द चाइल्ड इज फीलिंग अफ्रेड, नाउ द चाइल्ड इज फीलिंग पैरानॉइड। अब कौन आएगा बीच में? हुज जॉब इज इट टू रिड्यूस एंजाइटी? इंटरनली, ईगो's job. The ego will deploy a splitting mechanism. Okay, splitting mechanism क्या होता है? I will explain. Don't worry. I'm here only. You are also here. We have lot of time. Okay, a splitting mechanism. Okay, to reduce anxiety. ठीक है? Splitting mechanism का और एक नाम, another name for the splitting mechanism is the schizoid mechanism. Okay, अब paranoid splitting mechanism position अच्छा नहीं लगता, so Melanie Klein named it paranoid schizoid position. Got it? What is this schizoid mechanism? What is this splitting that's happening? Okay, the split that happens here is that the child learns that I am right now, I'm alive, right? The child's alive, and the child is afraid of death. So, in its psychic mind, in its object world, it keeps life far away from death. How it can survive is keeping life away from death. Okay, so it splits life and death, right? It splits life and death. Okay, it keeps them far, far away. Why does it keep them far away? Because it feels safe when life is far away from death. Okay, life is here and death is somewhere in the back here. Okay, that's when the infant feels safe, right? Now, does this happen only for life and death? No, it happens for everything. It happens for love and hate also. So the child feels so anxious that it keeps love and hate separate from each other because it's afraid that the hate will kill the love, it will destroy love, it will annihilate love. So that love survives hate, so that life survives death, it splits its object relational world. Okay, what is the consequence of this? That we can either love or we can either hate. Okay, एग्जाम्पल देता हूँ मैं, सिंपल एग्जाम्पल है, इससे क्लियर हो जाएगा. ओके, वेरी सिंपल एग्जाम्पल, ध्यान से सुनो. ओके, स्मॉल इन्फेंट, देर इज नो इन बिटवीन, स्प्लिट हो गया है. ओके, तीन फर्स्ट 3 months इन्फेंट इज सर्वाइविंग ऑन ब्रेस्ट मिल्क. करेक्ट? करेक्ट. व्हाट इज द फर्स्ट ऑब्जेक्ट वी डिस्कस्ड यस्टरडे? फर्स्ट ऑब्जेक्ट इज द मदर. उससे भी पहले, बिफोर द मदर, बिकॉज द चाइल्ड एंड द मदर आर वन इन द चाइल्ड्स माइंड. ओके, so even before the mother, the breast of the mother is the first object in the child's mind. Okay, वहीं से nourishment आ रही है, right? That's where the nourishment, that's where the food, that's where the satisfaction is coming from. Correct? Correct or not? Yes or no? Are you guys with me? Hello, सब लोग हैं, सब लोग को समझ रहा है, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. Excellent, excellent. Okay, stay with me, stay with me. The mother's breast is the first object. इसको हम पार्ट ऑब्जेक्ट भी बोलते हैं, बट विल कम टू इट लेटर. अब imagine that the mother is not feeding the child properly. The child has to be fed number of times, 7, 8, 10 times throughout the day. And the mother is feeding the child 1, 2 times in a day. Okay. Imagine the anxiety the child feels when you don't have a meal. कैसी anxiety होती है when the Zomato or some food delivery app does not deliver your meal? How anxious do you feel? Imagine a 3 month to 1 month old child not getting food. Okay. And the anxiety comes, and the infant is afraid that what will I do? What will I do? And it keeps, and it splits. It keeps hate away from love. It keeps life away from death. Food is not being given on time. So how will the infant feel about the breast? Positively, negatively? बताओ, जल्दी जल्दी बताओ. Positively, hate, excellent. It's the mother's breast. Okay, this is known as splitting. Splitting is also a defense mechanism. Okay, splitting can come. This is a position, right? Paranoid schizoid position. Could you repeat the head part? Yes, I'll repeat. If the mother is not feeding the child regularly, the child will feel anxious that it's not even getting food. And what does it see? It just sees the mother's breast, right? So it will start hating the mother's breast, right? Got it? Okay, excellent. So this is splitting. Okay, इसमें ambivalence becomes impossible. Ambivalence मतलब that it is both good and bad, either good or bad, either life or death, either love or hate. Okay, this is the paranoid schizoid position. Remember again, it's just a state of mind that the ego deploys to reduce anxiety. Okay, there's so many brilliant parallels that you guys are drawing. कुछ कुछ सही भी है. Amazing. चलो नेक्स्ट स्लाइड पे आते हैं हम. ओके, ग्रेट, अमेजिंग. Paranoid schizoid position is done. Now we come to the depressive position. Okay, 3 months are done. Okay, after 3 months, the depressive position comes in flying cells. Okay, before we go in, let's have a light question answer session. One question, all answers I want from you. The question is, what villains have turned out to be good in the end of the movie? Any movie series, any book series, anything. आराम से सोचो. I will give you 727, 728 stuff. This is really important. Okay. Megamind, Snape, Loki, Snape, Joker, जो मैंने फोटो दिया. Obito Uchiha, yes, great example. Mean Girls, yes. Code Geass का ले लो, yes. Excellent. Ones with a tragic backstory. Who doesn't have a tragic backstory here? If you don't, it'll happen. It's coming. Don't worry. Ursula, okay, okay. Joker and Snape, Sasuke, Obito, all of them. Sasuke's elder brother also. What's his name? Sasuke Uchiha. यार क्या नाम है? इताची, इताची. बस इसकी और बात नहीं करते. लेट्स कम बैक 727. अभी वेयर आर वी? कैन समवन सम अप फॉर मी व्हाट ऑल हैज हैपेंड 3 महीने में इन्फेंट की लाइफ में? इन्फेंट इज बॉर्न, एंजाइटी हैज कम इन, राइट? इन्फेंट को एंजाइटी रिड्यूस करनी है. मदर इज नॉट फीडिंग ऑन टाइम, करेक्ट? Infant is feeling paranoid. Because it's feeling paranoid, splitting mechanisms, schizoid mechanism is happening. Correct? It is keeping love separate from hate. Okay. We also do this in our lives. Can you think of one example where you have thought of one person as either good or bad and nothing in between? This is oh, extremely bad, or a situation. है ना? ठीक. अब हो गए हैं 3 months. Now we are going to talk about Joker. Now we are going to talk about Severus Snape. Okay. Severus Snape was painted negative by Albus Percival Wulfric Brian Dumbledore. Okay, throughout the 7 books. Okay, Dumbledore always portrayed Snape in a negative fashion. Correct? And we saw on Snape, oh my god, how can he do this? Dark arts teacher, potions teacher, whatever, and he's doing all of this. End May, what happens? We get to know what Snape actually is. We get to know how he has sacrificed. We get to know the love he has for Harry. And now what do we feel? We feel what's known as ambivalence. We feel that Snape was not all bad. Snape was bad also, but he was also good. Correct? Correct or not? Okay. अब आते हैं हम डिप्रेसिव पोजीशन पे. ओके, डोंट थिंक इट हैज समथिंग टू डू विद लाइक डिप्रेशन और समथिंग. डिप्रेसिव पोजीशन क्या है? ओके, व्हाट इज डिप्रेसिव पोजीशन? ओके, If the mother is good enough mother, we are going to study today only. If the mother is good enough and feeding is on time, caring is on time, everything is happening, then the anxiety the child feels in the first 3 months will decrease, correct? If the mother is caring, loving, warm, nurturing, so the anxiety now decreases. Okay. And we we think ki the breast that we thought was bad, we are like ki this is good now. I'm fine with it, right? Ki this is good. I don't feel that this is the source of all my this is the source of all that is bad. ठीक है ऐसा नहीं लगता है हमको. And ambivalence develops. Okay. Depressive position is a position of ambivalence where we develop the ability to hold objects in both good and bad thinking simultaneously. जो split हुआ था याद है कितना दूर था split? That has now come back. Now we are understanding the person we love, we also hate a little. That there is death in life, that there is life in death. Okay, great. This is the depressive position. छोटी सी मीम है यहाँ पे. Depressive position. Wait, the good and the bad breast is the same. The depressive position says always has been. We just thought it was bad in the beginning. Why is it called depressive? Great question, Arya. I have no clue. I'll have to read up. Okay. Next. Next is the concept that I've already taught you. Yeah, I don't have to teach you again. You've already learned about the good and the bad breast. This is Klein's concept. Melanie Klein's concepts. Okay. Now ambivalence is there. Okay. अभी upbringing पे dependent है. Now it's dependent on the upbringing how the infant is going to develop. Okay. If the breast provides regular food, then it's a good breast. Okay. If the breast is not regular, then what happens? The learns another defense mechanism called projection. What is projection? Projection is depositing our feelings into someone else. Okay. So it deposits our death instincts, our evil into the breast and it terms it as bad. This is the bad breast. Okay. Great. At the same time, we also really want the good breast to exist, right? Ideal self के बारे में सोचते हैं. There is an ideal self that you have in your head of you, correct? कि अगर मैं रोज 6 बजे उठ के इफ आई गेट रोज 6 बजे उठ के योगा करके मॉर्निंग वॉक पे जाके कॉफी बना के इफ आई सेट टू स्टडी देन एवरीथिंग इज गोइंग टू बी फाइन करेक्ट यस और नो आर यू गाइस हियर आर यू विथ मी हेलो सब समझ आ रहा है कोई टेंशन मत लो दिस इज वेरी सिंपल ओके ग्रेट नाउ the breast that we are thinking of right that is also we have idealized in our mind we want the breast to be good right as we want ourselves to be good there's an ideal self of ourselves in our mind basically there's an ideal breast that we have in our mind okay there's a great line that Klein writes which is it is not only food that the infant desires he also wants to be freed from the destructive impulses can you guys hear me can you see me
We'll give him a second. Oh, there he is back.
um give me 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me figure something out. Shannon, just take over for 2 minutes, no?
No problem. It is a dramatic pause. Do you guys know about Klein's life, by the way? The great controversy or the great debate. Have you guys heard of it? Oh my God, you do not know of how cool this thing is. So, you know that Klein has worked with like children, right? Her work is with children. One second. Yeah. So anyone else knows who was working with children as well at that time? In fact, मेरा book पढ़ा हुआ है. One second. Okay. Yeah, I have it right here with me. Melanie Klein. Yeah, Anna Freud. Yeah. So at that point, there were two people, two major folks, two major groups. There was Anna Freud, who worked with children, and then there was Klein. And now the problem is that each of them kind of disagreed with each other, and the disagreement was not small. Okay, Klein believed that you could, in a way, use analytical psychology, right? Psychoanalysis, basically, in terms of interpretation and stuff, with children, with play therapy. So one of you mentioned, but Anna Freud's view were a little different. So guess who people supported? Anna Freud. Why? Because Freud ki beti hai. So we're like, they all went towards it, and psychoanalysis was just split into two in a way. You can check it up. It's called controversial something, controversial theory, controversial discussions. And Klein had very few supporters. Yeah, nepotism. Yeah, Klein had very few supporters. Why? Because who's going to support her? Her own husband was not nice to her. Her children were not nice to her when she grew up. There was this guy, Abraham something, I forgot his name, and even Ferenczi, I think, he was also a silent supporter despite being a good friend of Freud. So Klein was just like, yeah, psychology ki Sylvia Plath. She was just like shunned by it. But we're here to always remember her, no matter how horrible psychoanalysts of the past would have treated her. Most textbooks don't even mention her properly. They mention Honai. Honai gets that tokenistic but Klein is the real girl. She's also like Honai is also the real girl, but Klein also deserves that uh, in a way, not attention really, but she deserves that credit because she's done some very good stuff. So would recommend reading her work. This is a good one that I recommend. The Psychoanalysis of Children. There's some more works that she has. Yeah, there's some more beautiful works that she has. Envy and Gratitude, I think. Very good or smaller papers on the schizoid position. Klein's work is just really good. The way she works with children, damn nice. That is the psych disagreement. Is he back? Sam, are we back? Okay, we give him like a minute more. So, have you guys ever read of or even heard of or even been taught of Sandor Ferenczi? Anyone's heard of him? No? Yeah, no one's heard of him. I remember someone mentioned him over here the other day. Ferenczi, Sandor Ferenczi. Ferenczi has I don't think they usually ask in net questions, but in MPhil questions they do. Because since they had asked about cohort, I think Ferenczi might be asked, can be asked. Uh, Mentor, kind of. There was also, I think the other guy, Abraham something, I'm not remembering his last name. He would count as a mentor probably, but yeah, Ferenczi was very helpful. Ferenczi was spell it out. I send the book only on the group. He has this clinical diary kind of a thing. I don't read it, but just like whatever. But good stuff. Ferenczi had developed something known as mutual analysis, where he is analyzing and the client is analyzing them. Are we back, Sam? Carl Abraham, yes. Thank you. Thank you.
The light went. I shifted forward. I connected to hotspot, and then the light came back, and now I also came back.
Very nice.
It's recording, no?
Yeah, it's recording.
Okay, I'll share my screen and you will continue.
Yes,
What a dramatic pause.
I was running out of things to say.
Hey, please, that's not possible. You can see this right now. Okay.
Damn, Kushi has separation anxiety. Which psychoanalyst do we turn to?
Okay, okay, guys, I'm back. Okay. Were you ambivalent about my going away or were you paranoid-schizoid? He's bad, we hate him. Like it's fine. Sometimes bad things happen. बड़े बड़े शहरों में I'm in a छोटा शहर. Okay. Let's come back. Let's come back quickly. Okay. खत्म हो रहा है डिप्रेसिव पोजीशन एंड वी आर रनिंग आउट ऑफ टाइम आल्सो. ठीक है. आज 5-10 मिनट आई थिंक विल गो. ओके. सो द गुड एंड द am I the stranger? Okay. Kamu stranger you are actually, Salman. But yeah. So now what's happening? We are understanding the good and the bad dress. I'll give you a great example for you to understand. Okay. Go ask your mother today. Okay. How you were as a child, as an infant, when breastfeeding. Okay. And ask one more question that I know your mother has answered. Okay. The question is, what do Indian mothers do when the child does not wean off the breast? So what happens is you have to wean the child off the breast and you have to give him physical food. Correct? So what happens when the child does not wean? What do Indian mothers do? The answer, one of the answers that your mother is going to give you is that neem का पत्ता का juice use करते हैं, neem oil use करते हैं. See, people already know. Okay, so that the child does not like it. Okay, imagine if this is used early on, when it's not even time to wean, then won't the child experience the breast as the bad breast? It will. Okay, so let's move forward. That's Melanie Klein for you guys. We have learned so much in yesterday and today. We've learned what object relations is. We've learned what object is, triadic, dyadic object relations. We've learned positions, what a position is. We've learned paranoid-schizoid position. We learned depressive position. You are the basics you are understanding so well that as Arjun said कि ये सब पूछने ही नहीं वाले. But when you see basic questions, कि attachment anxiety or separation, you'll be like, okay, this is so basic. We'll know the answer instantly. Okay, and we will study that also. Don't worry. ठीक है? चलो. Now we come to Donald Winnicott. Okay. Yesterday I had told you Winnicott, Masood Khan, all of that. Remember? Now we are at Donald Winnicott. Okay. Donald Winnicott is basically what Gen Z terms Taylor Swift as mother. Okay. Donald Winnicott is called, actually, I'm not kidding, in all analytic circles. Donald Winnicott is the mother of psychoanalysis. जैसे Freud is the father. Okay. Winnicott is the mother. Winnicott worked with children. Winnicott had a great understanding of children, and there's a quote which says it's not that Winnicott understood children, it's that the children understood Winnicott. Okay. ठीक है. There's another quote by him which is great. Winnicott mothered for real birth, which is it is a joy to be hidden and a disaster not to be found. Which is a great quote. ठीक है. Okay. Let's discuss the good enough mother concept. Right? Winnicott says that an infant should be given enough space for it to go insane, for it to destroy everything in its path, for it to cry every day, for it to be angry at everyone, for it to eat anything that comes in its manner. Okay? The infant should feel safe enough to go insane, to do things which are not safe, so that it develops in a healthy manner, so that it understands what to do, what not to do. Right? Now, what does the mother have to do when the child is going insane? The mother has to bear the hate. But Winnicott added one more layer to this. Winnicott said that not only does the good enough mother have to provide care, but it has to fail to provide care. That is a marker of a good enough mother. That it has to fail to provide care. I'll simplify this concept for you. Okay, सुनो, ठीक है, सुनो 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 सुनो, बहुत easy concept है, ठीक है, okay, pay attention, right? Small infant is there, right, which we've talked about, correct? Imagine the infant is trying to learn to walk, right? The infant is trying to learn to walk. He's struggling, he's crawling, he's getting up, right? And whenever he falls, the mother stops him from walking again. The mother picks him up instantly. Ki, no, 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 don't fall, don't walk, don't walk. It's fine if you don't learn how to walk. It's fine, it's fine. What has the mother done here? The mother has taken away the opportunity from the infant to fail. Overprotective, exactly, right? So not only does the mother have to provide care, warmth, nurture, but the mother also has to fail to provide care for autonomy to develop. Okay. Why the term good enough? Why not best? Because there is no best. There is no such thing as best. Okay. You will never be prepared enough to write the NET exam, as Arjun said. You will be good enough, always. Okay. Okay. Another analogy, which is great, which I thought of, I think 1 year ago, and I was very afraid to share it with my seniors and other analysts I knew. And then I did, and they were like, okay, this is a good analogy. I'm like, okay, fine. The analogy is of a bird. The good enough mother is a bird who eats the anxieties of the child. It takes the anxieties of the child, it chews them, and spits back the anxieties in the mouth of the infant. Okay, in a digestible form. The anxieties of this world are too much to bear for an infant. So the mother holds the infant. It's fine, it's fine. It is basically chewing the anxieties of the child and spitting it back into the infant's mouth. Okay. The analytic concept, the analytic equivalent of this is beta particles and alpha particles, which we are not going into today. Okay, repeat. What happened? Voice broke. अच्छा, okay, I'll repeat. No worries. अभी repeat करता हूँ. ठीक है. The good enough mother is eating the anxieties of the child. ठीक है. Child को anxious लग रहा है. Okay. It is taking the anxieties of the child. It's chewing them. It's breaking the anxieties down and then spitting it back to the infant in a digestible form, in a form that the infant can tolerate at such an young age. Okay. Like Taylor Swift, so many expressions of Taylor Swift songs are anxieties, which he has put in a poetic, amazing, songwriting manner. And then, like, yes, this is exactly what we are feeling, right? So that's the comparison. Yeah. Okay. We are very low on time, so we will move थोड़ा सा आगे. Okay. Great. That's Donald Winnicott. I don't know who this singer is. Um, who's this singer? I have no idea. Okay. Sabrina. Carpenter, you're lying to me. Carpenter is the person who does woodwork. Okay. Sabrina, I can believe. Who's Carpenter? Carpenter. She's a carpenter or what? Okay. ठीक है. Sabrina Carpenter, and that's Donald Winnicott. Okay. Two more quick concepts of Winnicott. One is the transitional object. True false self you already understand. So many self, ideal self we've talked about. Okay. But transitional object, let's understand. Um, Imagine you are 2 years old. Okay. Actually think. Go back. Okay. Do you remember when you were 2 years old? Do you remember how you looked like? What you used to wear? इधर उधर घर कैसे दिखता था? Renovation हुआ होगा अभी तो. right? Imagine when you were a small child, right? The question is, what was that one object that you never left, that was always by your side? Was it a Barbie doll? Was it a shawl, someone has said? What was it? Pebble, pillow? Excellent. Socho, socho. Aega wa. It'll come to you. Doll, teddy bear, monkey bag, stuffed toy, colors. Excellent, excellent. Parrot, stuffed toy. Great. Hot Wheels car. Excellent, excellent. Monkey toy. A lot of monkey toys. Okay. A diary, my grandfather. Excellent. Excellent. All of these are your transitional objects. Okay. They were your transitional objects. Now, what is a transitional object? The child does not know that the self and other is separate. The child thinks mother and infant is the same thing, correct? So when child gets an object, it thinks, what is this? This is something different. This is the third. This is a new experience. And then it holds that object. For example, a teddy bear. Okay? And then this teddy bear is used to make sense of inner reality versus outer reality. Teddy bear is the outer reality. And what we feel towards the teddy bear is the inner reality. Separateness starts coming in because of the transitional object. We understand that, oh, this is me, these are my hands, and those are the mother's hands, or this is my Barbie's hands. This is my Barbie's hair, this is my teddy's hair which somebody has touched, okay? And children don't let other people touch their object. Have you seen? कोई हाथ नहीं लगाने देता. They're very possessive about it. Okay? कि no, no, it's mine. Correct? Can you repeat? Yes, I can repeat. No worries. I'm saying the child and infant thinks that external reality and internal reality is the same thing. Self and other is the same. Inside and outside is the same. Me and mother is the same. Correct? When a transitional object is given, it uses the transitional object to make sense of outer reality and inner reality. Okay? Separateness is conceived. Okay? ठीक. What happens in case of absence? Pathology can happen, something else will happen, but रहते हैं transitional objects. ठीक है. लंच बॉक्स करके एक मूवी है. इरफान खान and I don't know if you've seen it. Okay, if you've seen it, if you've not seen it, go today and watch it. Okay, there's a scene towards the end of the movie where that the female protagonist is dressing up the daughter. The mother is dressing up the daughter. बाल बना रही है daughter. Okay, and the daughter बाल is dressing up her Barbie. उसके बाल बना. Okay, and the mother looks outside, right? And it sees the child happily go with the Barbie inside the van, school van. And the mother thinks, that what if I had been educated or enough, or what if I had the opportunities to become who I was? And then it's shown that the Barbie is actually the mother's, which the mother has given to the daughter. And then a flashback is shown of the protagonist playing with the doll while the parents are fighting or something is happening. And it's an amazing scene. The transitional object is intergenerational. So, right? Okay. You see it, you'll understand. Okay. True and false self, 100 times you've seen, but Winnicott's understanding, I'll tell you, false self is the self we have, which we adjust to others' affinities, we attune to others' needs. If my father requires me to be submissive and soft spoken, then that is the self I will present in front of him. I will not be outspoken. Okay. This is the false self. True self, Winnicott says, cannot be defined. It is in the nature of being. ठीक है? Okay. Life persona, yes, little bit. Okay, we are towards the end of the class. Quickly, we are going to do two, two small theories which you've done 200 times. I know. Easily, I have left just 5-10 minutes for them. Okay. अभी तक सबको सब समझ आ रहा है? Everyone is understood everything. Any doubts, anything at all? Please tell me. Okay. Mother had the transitional object too, right? Yeah, in the mother's child, right? Taylor Swift, Neem, good and bad breast, depressive position, paranoid-schizoid position. सब समझ आ रहा है? Okay. Schwann cells. What? Schwann cells कहाँ आ गए यहाँ पे? Schwann cells produce the lining. Oligodendrocytes. What? Where is this coming in from? Sure. But is this a doubt or what is happening? Biocell flashback. Okay. True self cannot be achieved. Why can it not be achieved? Of course it can be achieved. It is okay. अब let's come back to our psychology. The psychology we are taught in our bachelor's and master's. This is a pyramid. These are your needs. This is how you function in the world. One second, give me one second. Yes, I am back. Ah, so since this is the psychology we are taught, कि Abraham Maslow gave the theory of self-actualization. There are pyramid. This is a pyramid. These are needs. One need cannot be met before the other need. We have physiological needs, safety needs, love and belonging, esteem, self-actualization. Thank you. That's today's class. This is not how we should learn psychology, right? This is the subject we have chosen, right? I'm sure all of you have fought battles in your home to take this subject. I'm sure all of you face pressures because of the subject. How will we earn? Will something happen to us? Will we be able to make it? And then we are taught this. How can we sustain our passion when we are not taught in an interesting manner? When the subject we loved so much is taken away from us, and we are left with nothing, right? So we have to get back to the basics. We have to understand what happens when the child is born, what happens later. Adolescence also we don't discuss as it happens, right? एक दो stage देखे we move over. Okay. Battles were fought. I'm sure, right? Great. Don't worry, but you're here now. Let's see. Okay. Abraham Maslow. Yesterday we discussed how Maslow did not make this pyramid, right? This pyramid was the result of some corporate training or something who wanted it to be in one image. Corporate wants everything in one image. You just sum this up and just give it in one image and I will do it. Okay. ठीक है. Simple. All of you know these needs, right? I'm not going to go over it as if you don't know this, right? Let's see what Maslow actually said. Okay. Maslow said that the trouble with eating is that it kills my appetite. Is this true? Why do you eat if you like hunger? The trouble with eating is that it kills my appetite, and it does, right? So, what do you want? Do you want to be full or do you want to be hungry? Of course, you don't want to be very hungry, but you know how an appetite feels, right? It's good, right? Okay. On the basis of this, he gave two types of needs. Okay, D motives and B motives, right? Deficiency needs and growth motives are known as B motives. Okay, deficiency needs and growth needs, right? What does this mean? Deficiency needs, growth needs. Acha, tell me which of these are deficiency needs and which of these are growth needs. Can you tell me? Love के बारे में बताओ. Is love a deficiency need or a growth need? Exactly. Why can't it be both? It is both, right? It is both. If you are hungry for love, if you are hungry for love, it becomes a deficiency need. And then you eat, right? You have a partner, you have friends. Regard, yeah, sir. Unconditional positive regard, congruence, and empathy. Okay. Unconditional positive regard, congruence, and empathy. I'll explain. What are they? ठीक है, नीचे से चालू कर रहे हैं. UPR, unconditional positive regard. What areas of counseling interest you guys? What do you like? Which areas, which type of clients would you like to work with? Not types of therapies. Which issues? बताओ. Do infants interest you? Adolescents? Does forensic psych interest you? Do you want to work with geriatric population, neurodivergent population, families, couples? What do you want to work? Someone has said trauma and abuse. Okay, let's pick trauma and abuse. Right? Let's take physical abuse in romantic relationships. Everyone talks about what to do when a woman comes in who's been beaten by her husband, and there's physical abuse, there's emotional abuse, all of that is there. And um, while training, we are like, okay, how do you empathize with this person? Right? And then you say, okay, there is basic empathy, advanced empathy, this statements, that statements, all of that. Right? And you will feel bad for that woman. Yes or no? So you will be able to empathize. Correct? Okay. So that client comes to me, for example. What if the husband comes to you? Then what do you do? Husband is your client. How do you empathize with the abuser, with the perpetrator, with the criminal? Do we dehumanize them? They are not worthy of redemption. Our job is to treat them. What do we do? How will you empathize? Got to be, I know you got to be not. How will you be? Unconditional positive regard is focusing on this concept. It says that you are not to put conditions on the client of the positive regard that you have for them. No conditions. If your condition is, if the client is a physical abuser, if the client is a criminal murderer, then I don't like that person, that client. then that is conditional positive regard. And that's not even positive regard. Okay, that's UPR. What's congruence? Congruence says that you should be in attunement with the client. If the client is saying something, you should understand that as it is. Okay. What does this mean? If the client says, "Ki, I really didn't want to attend today's session," what is the interpretation that you are making here? Is it that you are a bad therapist, or is it that the client didn't have time? What is the interpretation? Did you actually listen when the client was speaking, verbally and non-verbally? Did the client focus today's session, or did the client focus today's session with you? What was the focus? Did you listen to non-verbal signs? Congruence is when you correctly understand what the client is trying to convey. Okay. And empathy, I think all of you know, right? ठीक है. Let's come to the self. Rogers talked about self-actualization, self-efficacy, self-concept, and self-esteem. Okay. Efficacy is your own belief about how well you can do. Okay. Self-efficacy is directly related to performance. If you believe you can clear net, you will clear net. Okay. We hear these stereotypes that our grandparents tell us that, you can do it. Just believe you can do it and you'll do it. And you're like, "Okay, what Dadi is saying again, and how I'll do it if I'm not studying only." Self-efficacy is important. Okay. Then self-esteem. Self-esteem is your opinion, your value that you put on yourself, your judgment of your own self. Do you hold yourself in a positive regard, in the negative regard? Do you have positive self-esteem, negative self-esteem? Right? Self-concept is your idea of you. Right? Your idea of you might not match everyone other's idea of you also. Correct? Yes. Which book are you referring to? There's no book. There's research papers, different books and discussions, and not book, especially for slang and all of that. This too you can find in any book. Okay. Actualization, yeah, it was discussed earlier. This is the last concept, actualization. Uh, Self-actualization and actualization is different. Okay. Self-actualization and actualization is different. Actualization says that there is an innate tendency that we have to develop our healthy capacities. Okay. इसका क्या मतलब है? You think you have the capacity to sit here for 2 hours and study. So you have a motivation for it, right? You decide that, okay, no matter what, I'm going to sit here. I'm going to listen. I'm going to study. Self-actualization is when you've already done all of this. You've reached the top. Okay. Rogers did not talk about, ideal, not a lot about the ideal self. He talked about the fully functioning person was a concept that Rogers gave. Rogers said the fully functioning person is characterized by the absence of any conditions of work. So the fully functioning person does not put any conditions of work on itself, on themselves. For example, we put a lot of conditions of work, right? If I do not clear net, I am not worthy. If I do not clear GRF, I'm not worthy. If I do not clear MPhil, I'm not worthy. Okay. Okay, understood? Good. And I think that is it. Let's solve some MCQs and then we are done. I'll say bye to you guys in 5 minutes. बताओ जल्दी जल्दी बताओ quickly quickly. Okay. So this is a confusing question. This question, I just said one sentence, so you might not get this. Good breast in our mental representations is a part object. Okay, because it's not completely separate from us, right? It has an object relation also, but in our mental representations, it's a part object. ठीक है, very good. A lot of you got this correct also. ये बताओ, ये तो I think I should skip. 1 minute. It's not even been 1 minute since we discussed this. Okay. According to Winnicott, a healthy person is integration of true and false self, fully functioning person. Fully functioning person हो गए. अगर Rogers लिखा होता तो it would be fully functioning person, right? Can false self be a healthy person? No. Okay. Winnicott did not talk about integration. He did not say you have to merge the true and false self. He said false self is someone you make up to attune to the needs of others. So a healthy person is the true self. Okay, great. Mm-mm-mm. This I think everyone will get right. I don't think there's any. Yeah, everyone, all answers are correct. Amazing, amazing, great. Which psychic position of line has ambivalence? It is the depressive position. Okay. अरे रिपीट हो गया ये क्वेश्चन. आई डोंट नो. ओके, ये बताओ. This is a guess question actually. Who coined the term object relations theory? Yes, most of you are right. There's two options, Klein and Fairbrain. It's Fairbrain. Okay, amazing. All right. Thank you so much, guys. That has been today's class. I so some of personality theory is left also, and the traits and some analysts, some traits, trait theory, type theory, all of that, and that will be covered in the next thing. And existential personality Shannon will also cover, so no problem for that as well. And yeah, that it's been a pleasure teaching all of you. Um, when this is the foundation course, when we have say the next one, I'll see you guys there. Hopefully, we'll meet there if you come. Right. Thank you so much for listening. If you have any questions, if you want to ask me anything, uh, my mail is not shared here, but I'll just type in my email and my handle if you want. This is my email if you want to ask any questions. This is my ID if you want to follow me or ask me something there. And yeah, that's it. I'll stop recording. Sanjana, you can stop streaming. I'll stop presenting. A lot of you have left also. That's been me.